Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 536. I am your Joe Dix, joined by Mark Augustiniak.
Hey.
Matt Selinger.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week we kick off the end of Season 11. It's the first part of our 2-episode finale, and today we'll be revisiting the list with new math. And we'll have a brand new way that we rank each game that you can try at home. Before we dive in to all of the fun list shenanigans of 2023, Mark, what is your favorite list?
Whoa. Favorite list?
It's bold.
I don't know where to begin with that. I'm not sure if
the dead air because I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have a reference in mind when it comes to that.
Probably, obviously the ones that God struck onto stone. That's obviously real. Those 10 things.
That's your favorite list?
That's my...
It's a little different than mine.
Deadass.
The first thing I thought of when I wrote down the question was, lately I've really enjoyed looking at old TV broadcast listings to see how programming was scheduled and organized across the given week.
Okay.
So,
I immediately thought of bullshit what culture videos.
what's that?
It's a YouTube channel that does nothing but dumb top 10 videos.
Oh, like the that old Joel McHale show?
Sure. Yeah, I guess something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have one. That's... I don't think of lists like that. It's just
Who
like
would think of a list like... No one should think of a list like that. I just threw it out there to see what would come out of your brain.
mush. Pure mush.
Well, we have a list, and it might be one of our listeners' favorite lists to review. Of course, if you want to do that, you can check that out at thefreecheese.com/thelist. This year, we added 36 games to our previous stack of 45. We changed our review scoring rubric, but when ranking on the list, it's all about the feel, not about the math. However, in this segment of the show, heart and impulse have been cut in favor of good, hot, raw math. So first, we'll see what the list looks like if our review scores actually mattered. Then we'll see how the three of us might have weighed the list differently if we'd assembled it all on our own. To start, so now listeners, you can't see the list, but Matt and Mark can. To start, I needed to reevaluate the math in our review averages. Our old scoring system did not straight up pair with our new scale. The former used a 5-star system with 10 different intervals of score, while the new one has a 20-point scale. So I created a new column, percentage-based, calculated the percentages for each game out of 100% based on their original weighted scale. Then I sorted the list based on those percentages. I accounted for ties, and I've made note of any significant jumps in ranking, above or below. Here are some fun statistics for the listeners. By doing it mathematically, we had 4 games in the list, and Matt and Mark, maybe I'll say at this point, don't peek if you don't know the answer already. We had 4 games on the list that moved more than 20 positions. One of them climbed a height of 27 spots. I'll let you guess a couple things. Are there any guesses on do you each have a guess on one game that jumped more than 20 spots?
I started peeking at it a little bit, but I don't know. I'm going to refrain from my guessing. I'll let Mark do it first because I might know the answer by accident.
And this could be a drop as well. This might be something that increased by 20 or more or fell by 20 or more.
My gut reaction was Devil's Crush.
Interesting.
It's
I would say there's a lot of We've got a lot of Devil's Crush to discuss during this episode. I can say that much. So the 4 games that moved more than 20 spots, Mario Kart Double Dash climbed from number 37 to 10, tying with Pikmin 3 and Parasite Eve based on review math alone. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the most recent addition to the list, dropped from number 7 to 29. Meanwhile, Downwell fell from 16 to 40, and Deadly Premonition sunk 22 places, dropping from 29 to 51. We had 5 games with changes greater than 15. X-Men 2 Clone Wars fell from 42 to 59. Eco dove from 6 to 24. Meanwhile, Gitaroo Man climbed from 36 to 16, and Yearwalk reached number 8, rising from 25.
Wow.
Here's the fun part that I really like. Our new top 10. Now, for the listeners not looking at the list, our current top 10 is Wii Sports, Quake, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Street Fighter 6, Hotline Miami, Eco, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Resident Evil 4 2023, Portal 2, and Quake 2. If we did this based on math alone, our top 10 from bottom up, tied at number 10, Pikmin 3, Mario Kart, Double Dash, and Parasite Eve, as previously mentioned, followed by Resident Evil 4 and Yearwalk at number 8. And that's the remake, 2023 Resident Evil. Portal 2, just above at 7. Street Fighter 6 at number 6. Quake and Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform tied for 4. WWF No Mercy at number 3. And tied for first place, Hotline Miami and Wii Sports.
Whoa.
I know. Quite the shakeup. Seeing this mathematically was wild. Seeing how, if we did this with science, it would be a different game than Heart. Our bottom 10. So right now, for the listeners not looking, from number, what is this? We got 72 down to 81. Is NBA Hangtime, NHL Stanley Cup, Sunset Overdrive, ESPN X Games, Skateboarding, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, Lifeline, Halloween for the Atari, Cool Spot, Paperboy 2, and last but definitely least, Blinks the Time Sweeper. If we did the bottom 10 mathematically, tied for 10, moving, it's still not tied for 10.
Moving down.
Coming down. I'm going from 71 down just with the way it is. ESPN X Games Skateboarding tied with NBA Hangtime, Paperboy 2, and Top Gear Rally at 71. Number 75, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. 76, Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. 77 is Halloween. WWF Betrayal comes in at 78, falling from 68. Cool Spot keeps its spot at 79. Lifeline drops to 80, and Blinks remains 81. Congratulations to ArtTune.
I like
Matt,
the
you
range.
also.
I was gonna say I like the range of WWF games here. We got one in the bottom 4, and one in the top 3.
Yeah, it was yes. But that's the representation of the genre. Matt, you pulled an interesting top 10 stat from these numbers.
Oh, sorry, these are the personal ones? Just sorry. I thought you had a stat for my bad. All right, so yeah, individually I went through. So I'm also noting, I'm going to note any scores that are perfect or above 9.5, by the way. So my list, I have a massive tie at the top with perfect scores with Wii Sports, Quake, Portal 2, Hotline Miami, WWF No Mercy, Max Payne, And then those are all 5s. And then I am the only one on this website that has given a perfect 10 so far, and that was to Undertale.
You did love that one.
And then at 8, I have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice with a 9.9. Quake 2 at 9 with a 9.9. Street Fighter 6 at 10 with a 9.8. And then the Resident Evil 4 remake from this year with a 9.8.
That's fit. I mean, no surprises for Matt there.
I don't think so.
I mean, Undertale was a surprise when it happened, but
no, that's a really good game. More about that later. Mark, your top 10 with some slightly missing data, but top 10. With perfect scores at 5, perfect scores of 5 at 1, 2, and 3. You have Wii Sports, Portal 2, and WWF No Mercy. At number 4, I don't have scores noted, so these are not a 5 and below 9.5. You have Eco. At 5 is Street Fighter 6. Number 6 is Sonic Frontiers. 7 is Year Walk. 8 is Hypnospace Outlaw. 9 is the Resident Evil 4 remake. And 10 is Quake 2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Let me read Joe's, and then I think something gets explained here shortly. So Joe, your top 10, you start off with 5 perfect scores of 5. Those are Wii Sports, Hotline Miami, Pikmin 3, Res Infinite, and Sonic and All-Stars. I didn't write the whole name. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Featuring Danica Patrick.
Right.
Yes.
Who's crept into my life again recently, but that's a whole other thing.
New favorite list? Top 10, Danica Patrick.
At number 6, with a score of 9.9, you have Hypnospace Outlaw.
Okay.
Actually, it's a tie for 6, because you gave 9.9 to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice as well. I didn't mess that up, right? No, I'm sorry. You gave that a 9.7. I gave you my score. You gave that a 9.7. That shouldn't have messed this up. Where was I? You gave Year Walk, at number 8 is Year Walk with a 9.7.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. I did not screw this up completely. I'm sorry. And then Luigi's Mansion. All right. I don't have a score for this, but Luigi's Mansion is 9, and then number 10 is NBA Street. So NBA Street cracked your top 10. I believe I did this right. I did not do this. I mean, I did it categorized by science, but by using my eyes and not spreadsheets.
Okay. I won't say anything yet, but I'm looking at my own, re-voting list to see where those things stack up. Listeners, more on that soon.
No, I was going to say I was shocked. I mean, I know I was kind of high on Yearwalk, but it didn't crack my top 10. But I was shocked to see Yearwalk kind of walk its way into both your top 10s. And now I see why it jumped significantly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it jumped from 25 to 8. So that math, man.
Fun stuff.
No, I like that. Thank you for pulling that one.
Yeah.
There were 6 games that did not move at all. I already said one of them. One should be obvious. But can you guess any of them? Mark, do you have a guess on one that did not move?
Oh. I can actually look at the list, right?
I mean, that'll give it
the original one, I think.
Yeah, no, the original one, not the.
Oh yeah, the original. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Mass Effect 2.
Nat, you have a guess?
I know one. One is Blinks. That just stayed dead last where it deserves to be because it's a broken ass game. As far as another guess though, Oh, I guess the other easy one's Wii Sports, because that didn't move either.
Yeah, the top of the list, bottom of the list stayed exactly the same. Blinks and Wii Sports.
But as far as one, I don't think I'm guessing. Like looking at these review scores, I'm looking for something that's like we're all in agreement on. So something like Amplitude, where it's like a 7.7, a 7.8, and a 7.9. It's kind of in the middle at 48, so there might be some things that moved, that got bumped up and down that moved it, but I was looking for something like that.
Well, I give the point to Mark if we're keeping points. Mass Effect did move, but it moved up by 1 point to tie at number 40 with Downwell, Beautiful Joe, Star Fox Assault. Hold on, do I have this already? Actually, yeah, hold on, let me not. Yeah, shoot. Well, all right, yeah, that was my next question was, can you guess which game is now in the middle of the list? And it's a 5-way tie at number 40.
Oh,
wow. Downwell, Beautiful Joe, Star Fox Assault, Mass Effect 2, and Bomberman 93 are all now at number 40. Amplitude, Matt, actually climbed 13 spaces from 48 to 35. In addition to Wii Sports and Blinks the Time Sweeper, Cool Spot stayed at 79, which I mentioned before. Shin-Chan, Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey stayed locked right at 49. 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors stayed at number 30. And Resident Evil 4 from 2023 stayed in 8th place based on math and heart combined. Pretty good.
Wow.
All right. This is it's usually our North Star, but despite it being our guiding stone, Devil's Crush was previously at number 60. Do you have a guess, Matt, I'll let you go first, where Devil's Crush landed based on math?
I am going to put it at... It moved up at 50.
Mark, what's your guess?
My gut number was 48.
Ooh, man. Devil's Crush moved from 60 to 46 to tie with SSX Tricky. Falling just shy of Papers, Please and just above Zuma Deluxe. And that's the list, as if done by math. We'll have the full breakdown of what that looks like and the new placement on the blog post for this episode, so I encourage you to go check that out. But next comes the real fun. The thing that I've been truly dreaming of seeing, the realities, since we came up with this back in the summer at some point. So we used a scientific voting method to individually determine our own version of the list. We each have our own respective ranking of 81. You, listener, can play along at home and create your very own version of the list as well. If you go to thefreecheese.com/listvoting.html, you can take the quiz, so to speak. We also have a link to that in this blog post or in the podcast description, whatever's easiest for you. If you do this, be sure to grab a screenshot of your results and share it in the comments or email it to us at podcast@thefreecheese.com.
Also, grab a snack while you're doing it, too. Just
It took a bit.
Yeah, well, just... You're on one, a few minutes.
Yeah. So what we've done is we recreated a project from about a decade ago that let users vote using the GameFAQs list of 128 games voted as best game ever. Our version lets you use our list of 81 games and asks you to choose if you like one game more than the other as they appear. It'll grab 2 random games from the list and you choose which one you like better, or if you feel the same about both, you can choose that option as well. After you continue voting through the series, you'll be gifted with your very own list. So I would like us, we're not going to read, it would be boring if we sat here and just read 81 games in a row. We'd get lost. It wouldn't make any sense. If you want to see our full lists, we'll have those again, all 3 of our individual lists side by side in the blog post. But I'd like for us to go around and share where some of the games ranked. So I have some questions to start us off, and then if you guys saw anything that looked wildly conspicuous or just a funny observation in your own results, feel free to share. I think the best thing to do is probably start with our top 10. So, Matt, how did your top 10 shake out on your version of the list?
All right. Starting at number 10, I had Portal 2.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8 was Wii Sports.
Mm-hmm.
I had a tie at 6 with Sekiro Shadows Die Twice and Quake. Number 5 is Street Fighter 6.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is Quake 2. This is where it gets a little weird. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Number 2 is Parasite Eve.
Huh.
And number 1 is Undertale.
So, all right. Matt, I will say that you and I share 3 games in our top 10.
Ooh.
Looking at mine. Mark, what were your top 10?
So I guess I'm counting the ones that have a tied ranking, right?
Yeah, 10. Just do them all.
Yeah, from 10, yeah.
Because I don't have a 9th place.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I have 2 ties for 10 and 2 ties for 8.
Yeah, okay. I got it.
So sharing 10 is Metal Gear Solid 2 and Mass Effect 2. Sharing 8th place is Luigi's Mansion and 9 doors, 9 person. I mean, 999. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Number 7, Burnout 3.
Huh.
Number 6, Wii Sports. And then the top 5. Number 5 is Street Fighter 6. Number 4 is Hypnospace Outlaw. At 3rd place, we have Sonic Frontiers. Which blew my mind, but also not surprised. 2nd place, Quake.
Wow.
And 1st place, Ico.
Dang. So we only had 2 crossover, Mark. My top 10, from 10 up, number 10, Disaster Report 4, Summer Memories. Number 9 was Pikmin 3. 8 was Sonic Frontiers. I'm sorry, Mark, we had 3. I missed Sonic Frontiers being in my top 10. 7 was Downwell. 6 was Quake. 5 is Wii Sports. 4 was Sin and Punishment. 3, Parasite Eve. 2, Res Infinite. And number 1, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Featuring Danica Patrick.
There it is.
I guess, so then let's do this real quick. I did not have this as a question jotted down, but I'm looking at this. Where did each of our top games, our number 1 games, fall in everybody else's respective list? So, Mark, your number 1 was Ico.
Mm-hmm.
That tied for Street Fighter 6 with me at 17. And Matt, yours was Undertale. That hit 51 for me. I didn't expect it to be that low.
Undertale.
Ico, well, Ico's 44 for me.
Dang. Okay.
What was your number? I forgot that fast.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing Trans Danica.
Sonic and All-Stars is 39.
Very good. You're going to be shocked when you find out what my 39 was.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, okay. Undertale was 39th. And Sonica.
This is perfect.
Yeah, Sonica and All-Stars Racing. Why can I not find this? I'm like super zoomed in. Maybe that's why. It's 16th.
All right. I guess since you guys both shared your 39, I can share that Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg landed at 39 for me.
Oh, what the fuck?
You're welcome. What are our bottom 10. Mark, why don't we start with you?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what number to start at because I have a lot of these are tied.
I have a 4-way tie at 68, so I'm starting there.
Okay, I'll start at 70, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is Metal Gear Solid for Game Boy and WWF Betrayal. There was a point, a little side note, there was a point in this where I got Betrayal mixed with No Mercy when I was just tapping.
Oh, no.
So it didn't happen a lot, so that might have affected No Mercy at some point. It's a false placement. But that's not in the bottom at all, so don't worry about that. But anyway. 72, tied is Game Dev Story and Resident Evil Gaiden. 74, ToeJam and Earl. 75, Paperboy 2. 76 is tied with NHL Stanley Cup and Blinks. Blinks isn't the bottom.
What the fuck are you doing, dude?
78, 3-way tie. Def Jam, Papers, Please, and NBA Street.
Wow.
And I think a lot of this was because I would hit the middle, and it just never came back.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, because I thought Paper Please was going to come back at least, but it just didn't. And my bottom one, Sekiro.
Not surprising.
Wow. I was very biased when I was doing this voting. I was tired of seeing it. I was like, get it off my list.
I had a few like that. Matt, what were your bottom 10?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the 4-way tie 68 because it bumps to 72 after that. All right, so the Battle Royale at 68 is WWF Betrayal, Top Gear Rally, Chameleon Twist 2, and Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. At 72, I have Paperboy. At 73, I have NBA Hang Time. Oh, sorry, it's a tie of 73. NBA Hang Time and Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
Fool.
75 is Peggle. I have a 3-way tie 76 with Rogue, ESPN X Games Skateboarding, and Halloween. I have a 2-way tie 79 between Lifeline and Cool Spot. And then that leaves yours truly still at the bottom of my list. Blinks, the Time Sweeper.
Tragedy.
Tragedy my ass. That game sucks.
Mark, where did Blinks land for you?
76, tied with NHL Stanley Cup.
Blinks hit 66 for me, tied with WWF No Mercy. Which, when I made that realization the other week, I was like, dang, Matt's going to be...
Hell to No Mercy.
Dude, I think No Mercy was I think it was a victim like Mark's was, right? Where I just like was kind of indifferent enough times and then liked some other things above it. So it just...
I mean, I guess we'll get into it. Do yours, but yeah.
So going from 72 to the bottom, Chameleon Twist 2, ESPN X Games Skateboarding, Gauntlet 7 Sorrows, NHL Stanley Cup, Lifeline, Cool Spot, WWF Betrayal. Tied with that is Paperboy 2 at 78, 80s Halloween, and 81 is Super Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
Dang.
Did not have a good time with that game.
It worked, though.
I just noticed that I had not a single game that I selected in my bottom 10, which I think is revealing. Did you guys have anything that you picked in the bottom? Actually, I know you did, because I heard Halloween on Matt's list.
Mm-hmm. Paperboy 2 as well.
Everything in your bottom 10 was something from me and Matt, Mark? Unless I forgot that I picked one of these, but I don't think I picked any of these.
No, I don't remember. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I killed some of my babies.
I thought I picked Blinks for a second, but
well, you put Halloween on the list to sink to the bottom, so that one's kind of, you know. All right, I want to know, what is your dividing line? What's directly in the middle? What is number 41? Mark?
Advanced Buster Hawk Gley Lancer.
It's a perfect
like
middle of
such
the
a
road
perfect-
game. Matt, how about you?
Phasmophobia.
Interesting. Where did Phasmo land? I feel like Phasmo landed kind of high, but now
I
I'm
think
looking
it's higher,
it's
yeah.
not. So I'm just gonna shut up and yeah. My 41 was Star Fox Assault, which
Okay.
I think fits. And I don't even. Oh, Glaylancer landed at 24 for me.
Star Fox is 29.
So I think we've kind of answered this a little bit, but just for posterity, the top 3 games on our regular thefreecheese.com/the list. 321 is Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Quake, and Wii Sports. Where are each of those games on your new personal ranking? For me, Sekiro is number 16, Quake is number 6, and Wii Sports is number 5. Matt, where's Sekiro for you? What place was that?
6th.
And then Quake was...
6th.
And then Wii Sports was...
8th. So right in a row.
So you and I had Quake in the same spot, which is interesting. Mark, Sekiro was your 81. Where was Quake at?
Quake is 2nd place.
And then Wii Sports.
6th place.
Okay. Interesting. All right. 2 more for us here. Where is Devil's Crush on your list?
Number 13.
Nice.
Dang.
Me as well.
Oh, really?
Exactly 13, yeah.
I have it at 43.
Hey. What is directly above and below Devil's Crush for you, Matt?
Beautiful Joe at 42 and Eco at 44.
Mark, what about you?
You'd think this would be switched around, but surprisingly it's not. Below it is Year Walk.
Uh-huh.
Above it, Get to Room Man.
Ah. I've got Perfect Dark just above Devil's Crush at number 12, and then number 14 is Luigi's Mansion.
Okay.
Oh, Lugu.
There you have it. Anything else that you guys noticed, like just looking through your list that was interesting? The one for me that I noticed and felt bad about was No Mercy tying with Blinks. Where's Blinks on your guys' list? Did you say?
Fucking basement.
Yeah, yours is at the
81.
bottom. But Mark, yours is a little bit higher, wasn't it?
Blinks is 76 for me. It's tied with Stanley Cup. I do know that a lot of these are a result of when it came to voting, you always have the middle option, and I didn't always use the middle option until later in the voting process. So I was just trying to hard pick games to have it move along a little quicker. And then I started to get that once it got a little tougher. And and there might have been 1 or 2 that had just like hit too fast or something. I was like, shit, well, it is what it is, and kept going. So
I had a very cutthroat approach. I almost always chose a winner of the 2 games, unless I was like seriously looking at my screen. Like, just I can't. And I think that happened like 3 times.
Yeah, I had a handful of them, but I was with you. When I remember doing the Game Facts one, it was torturous. Like, I remember feeling like I could not pick between. I think even in the old article we had on the website, I had a screenshot of like Mother 3 and Symphony of the Night. Like, how do you do that? And then this time around, it was a bit easier to make those selections. Just like, no, this one edges above the other one or not. But yeah, that was a pretty fun one. I encourage listeners to go check it out, try it for themselves, thefreecheese.com/listvoting.html, or check the link in the podcast description on the blog post. We're going to close out this episode with some trends in 2023. These are just things that you maybe noticed about yourself. Things you maybe noticed within the industry that you felt stood out, but just sort of a reflection of sorts. I will start with, this was the year 2023 that I left Game Pass after being a member since buying my Xbox One in 2017. But when I got to the Series X, I did the, whatever that thing was called, I don't remember. It was the financing plan that let you kind of pay monthly for the Xbox, but also had Game Pass Ultimate. And when that ran out, I was not compelled to renew Game Pass Ultimate. And I think a big part of it was that I was buying Street Fighter 6 on PlayStation, and I did not want to pay for PlayStation Plus and Ultimate, but I needed that online. But the other part was, like, I just started looking at the Game Pass library, and there was not a lot for me. Especially from the first party perspective, which, Matt, you left this year as well, right? Or was that last year?
Yeah, it was this year. Just nothing.
Same kind of.
Yeah. My thing was the first party stuff. It just wasn't coming, and what was coming, like, wasn't of interest. I mean, honestly, Redfall was the most kind of compelling looking thing from afar, and then that thing came out and was what it was. But I left Game Pass before that, and I kind of keep saying to myself, like, if there's either like a collection of games or something intriguing comes out, I will have no problem signing up for a month and seeing where it goes from there, or like doing maybe like a 3-month buy and seeing what happens. But like, Redfall came and went. And the other big game, sorry, they had 2 more after this. Like Forza, like I'm not like into racing at this very second. So like, but I also have like my steering wheel is not for Xbox, it's for my PlayStation, and I could move it to PC, but the setup, like where my PC is at, would be weird. So like I have Gran Turismo for that if I wanted to play something like that on PlayStation. And then, the most important RPG ever, Starfield, kind of came and went. And when I saw it, it looked like Fallout 4 in space with a little bit better shooting, which was not what I was ever looking for at some point this year.
Yeah, not enough to jump back in. And Mark, you've been out Game Pass for a bit too, right?
Yeah. I finally hopped in here and there. It was just because like a friend wanted to like play a game, but in my heart of hearts, I'm basically over it. I've been trying to migrate everything that I liked about Game Pass onto Steam and make that kind of my HQ.
Yeah.
So yeah, in spirit, I've definitely moved on.
It's weird. I mean, I'm kind of having this fatigue with a lot of streaming stuff generally, like not just game. It's weird. Game Pass is, I still think Game Pass is a great value. It's $15 a month, and you have access to a ton of games. Like if you're buying an Xbox right now, you've never had one, you'll have a ton of fun with it. But when you have more platforms to play on, and there's too many options now, and nothing kept me wanting to stay there. The only thing that's made me like almost buy another month subscription is wanting to play like Master Chief Collection online or something. And I don't have gold right now. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of thing. But sorry, Xbox Game Core, Game Pass Core, whatever.
I was gonna say, like, I think like something like Gears would maybe bring me back for a month or so, because I did like Gears 5 a lot. I'll play next Gears if it looked somewhat like Gears. But I'm just curious what they do with the Activision Blizzard stuff. I'm assuming that all will drop on to Game Pass at some point. But I'm even more curious to see what happens with like Call of Duty in the next year or two in Game Pass, because if I can save myself paying $70, where I can just pay like for $15 just to potentially get my guns ranked up, so that way I have them for the free Warzone, like I think that would be a direction I would go to save myself some money. But yeah, I think that stuff kind of could bring me back, but Xbox, the first party stuff there is not doing it. Not currently, at least.
I've got a couple more, but why don't we kick it around? Matt, did you have anything you noticed this year that you felt yourself trending towards, trending away from?
I'll probably talk about this more next week, but Final Fantasy and that franchise pumps out good games.
It turns out.
So I spent a lot of time with that Square Enix franchise this year. I don't know. I think just in general, I think I can still, if I dedicate some time to it, and it's like the only thing I'm playing, which again, I'm not playing everything, these days, but dedicate some time to an RPG, I can get through it in today's life. I think I found that out. I found some time earlier. Just like with RPGs in general, like found time to get through Final Fantasy 16. I was playing 14 for a bit. I finally played through Cyberpunk. I was playing Final Fantasy 7 Remake again. Like, I played that pretty much all the way through. I just, like, the longer RPG games, I know we, like, about, like, which, with life nowadays, I can still make time for. I just have to not play other things for a bit.
Yeah, it's funny, like, how much time you realize you have when you start moving it around that way. Because I think we do this. We all do that. Like, you think about it, you look at how long to beat on an RPG, and you're like, nope, not even. But once you're in it, it just kind of flows. Mark, how about you? Anything you felt or noticed?
I don't think too much has changed with how I approach games. I usually get into like a certain mood or whatever, and I try to find a bunch of games that try to scratch that itch, and I'll like cycle through them until I find one that I keep coming back to, and until I'm sick of it or something.
Did you have any like interesting, like what were the phases? Like, did you have a mech phase, like a giant robot thing? Did you have a pirate phase?
I definitely had like a stealth ninja phase earlier in the year. And then I just ended back on like Mark of the Ninja for a little bit, and then till it got tough, and then I bailed.
I feel like I remember that after Sekiro, you kind of were like, "Let me go more of the Ninja Gaiden." Right? Did you
there was
those?
Yeah, I did. I think I just wanted to try them all out just to see which one was worth playing later, and then I just for some reason never went back to it. I could say more recently, November tends to put me in a fantasy mood, so I hopped into a lot of the Lord of the Rings games,
like the PS2 era stuff, right?
I dabbled in a bit of that. I was all over the place. Like I went in the Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor. I beat that. Started working on the DLC, and then I spent a lot of time in Lego Lord of the Rings. And then and it got me. But then all of that oddly led me. I even tried the Lord of the Rings MMO, and I don't recommend that. Don't waste your time on that. And then that all oddly led me back to replaying A Link to the Past. And then what was it? Earlier, I want to say around, it might have been like a month or two before that. I was playing a lot of X-Men games because I was trying to see which one portrayed the best version of Wolverine. And I think I was between, because you got your 2D ones and your 3D ones, so I think I was between one of the X-Men Legends games for 3D and only because I didn't play the X-Men Origins Wolverine game. I haven't tried that yet.
I was going to ask if you played that.
Yeah, I've heard very good things, and I've seen very good things about it. And I feel like
that would shit, but
yeah, I feel like that would be my answer. That would totally be my answer. I feel.
Was that Raven that did that?
Ooh, I don't know.
That would be interesting.
Wasn't Insomniac Games?
I mean, Raven did the Legends games.
Yeah, that.
But 2D I still like Clone Wars on Sega.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to the Game Boy Color game. Very impressed by that sprite work, like that animation. It's like
I don't remember that one.
Just look up a video on it. He's so fluid with his movements. It's weird. It's tough, but it's weird. So yeah, definitely just my typical, like, I just go through phases like that.
Yeah.
Just dip in a little bit of everything.
Raven did lead on next gen at the time platforms and PC.
Nice. I felt myself trending toward original hardware a bit more this year. I keep doing that year over year, but I felt it big this year. A lot of handheld. I did buy a RetroTink this year so that I still have my CRT, but it's just not out on display. But I bought the RetroTink so that I had something to just easily put everything out to my TV, my regular TV. Which, that thing is great. I know that Mike Chi just released the RetroTink 4K, and it also looks great. That one is definitely overkill, but the cool thing with that one, I'm not making that jump. It's way too expensive for me. If someone gives me a bunch of money, maybe, but that one, the neat thing is you can do like proper 4K upscaling for last gen consoles. So if you still have a 360 or a PS3 and you want to output it at native 4K, you can do that through the Tink 4X, or 4K, which is really rad. But separate from that, I bought another PSP, I bought a DSi, and I spent, I think, an even amount of time using my Game Boy Pocket as I did the Analog Pocket I picked up last year. So I don't know what that says, but and then speaking of original hardware, and I think for me a big thing with that is like chasing experiences you can't get anywhere else. And I think a big loss happened this year with the 3DS eShop shutting down back in March. To Matt's RPG point, it's a huge loss for RPGs with the 3DS eShop not being available. I tried to buy as many as I could, but still I know I missed out on stuff that I otherwise wanted. Are you guys lamenting the loss? Did it come and go and who cares? Where?
I mean, yeah, like, of course it sucks. It kind of lit a fire under me to try to collect. I went and got every Mario game that I could, so I didn't really have a lot of them on there.
Yeah,
and then any other smaller like Game Boy games or something like that, I think I picked up, but no, that was. I think I pretty much had everything that I wanted before. That was eShop only, because I was like, anything else I could maybe try to find anywhere else, but
yeah,
those prices might go up now, so
they definitely did for a bit. I imagine they'll come back down, and yeah. Anything else you guys noticed, paid attention to, or I've got 2 more small ones to send us out, but if you've got anything.
I can't remember. I just don't know if it was this year or last year, where like farming sim fantasy hybrids were just a constant.
They were all announced last year. I think they started to come out like in the fall and spring. So
I just feel like it just hasn't let up. Like it's still
everything
happening.
has farming. But then again, like that new, Like a Dragon game has some like similar, Mark, we were talking about the Animal Crossing mini game stuff in there, and like I'm not opposed to that. I'm intrigued.
Well, yeah, if they all looked like a dragon, probably wouldn't be as hung up on it.
No, yeah, they all have a very distinct look too, which last two things, I bought a PlayStation VR 2, and I wish that PlayStation cared about that platform. And finally, speaking of PlayStation, I just want to shout out to September 27th, 2023, the announcement of the retirement of Jim Ryan, which I kind of want to track down and or just replicate those cookies he had at his retirement party. I'm going to see what I can do about that in the coming weeks. But additionally, I don't know. It's been a running gag to dunk on Jim Ryan because of the silly things he said in 2017. But at the same time, he's done a lot to push PlayStation in the direction that it is, and it's been very successful because of it. So
commercially,
I don't know what will come next.
Commercially, I don't know about spiritually, but commercially,
yeah, spiritually things are in a weird spot, but you know, they kept the numbers black. Yeah. That's 2023. Part 1. Come back next week for part 2, where we will each run down our favorite games from the year, both new games that we played that came out this year, some old stuff, and of course we'll talk about our favorites from the list. And then we'll tease a little bit of what to expect for Season 12 in the new year. Until then, thank you, listener, for hanging out with us and listening. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. We'll see you next week.